Toys my kids won't play with and why. Sonic doesn't usually need a race car to go fast, but we'll allow it since this is a pretty cute one. This toy was a big hit with my kids when they first got it, but somebody kept leaving it on and the battery drained out. I decided to be a nice mom and go ahead and get those batteries changed out. Out with the old and in with the new. Let's tighten her back up and turn it on for real this time. Now let's go. Or not. This would be why they're not playing with it. It doesn't work anymore. I know Mario wouldn't dare let them down like that. Toys my kids won't play with and why. This Koosh Target game comes with a little kickstand or you can hang it on the wall. There are different modes for single or double player and comes with 2 launchers and 2 Koosh balls. There are several settings where you have different objectives with hitting the target. However, even with a lot of practice, this is more difficult than it looks. On top of the struggle to get these to launch or have any kind of aim, another issue is hitting with enough force, which means unless you're sitting really close or really strong, it's not going to register when you hit a target. For my kids, this leads to arguments and frustration. Toys my kids won't play with and why. This remote-controlled snake was on both of their Christmas wish lists. And it's not hard to see why, with glowing eyes and realistic snake movements. This is a fun toy to terrorize the pets and the grown-ups in the house. However, since they both asked for one, Santa brought them each their own snake. What Santa did not plan for was that these snakes both run on the same frequency, which means it's impossible for them to play with at the same time. And since that leads to arguments and fights, they just would rather not touch them. Toys my kids won't play with and why. This gumball machine maker is a mashup of science and candy. With a spin of the knob, you can release a gumball and watch it go down the obstacle course. This setup is just one of the options that you have with this toy. It's designed with lots of pieces for you to move around and try different scenarios. This does require a bit of finger strength, so my littlest can't do this alone. Getting a gumball to actually come out does take a little bit of work as well. And that's kind of the major flaw with this toy. When it works, it's really great, but it only probably works about 1 out of 10 times the way that it should. And some of that is how actual science works. You need to retest and perfect it. But too often with this toy, it's just frustrating and the gumballs end up on the ground. So it's a good thing we have some backups. 10 out of 10 for creativity on this toy, 4 out of 10 for execution. Toys my kids won't play with and why. This is a Harry Potter Catch the Golden Snitch game. The box it comes in is super cool. It looks like a Quidditch chest. Of course, there's a quaffle, a couple of bludgers, and the all-important golden snitch. Next come the instructions, which are complicated. And I quickly realized that we don't have a big enough playing surface. Even the instructions say things are going to get messy. Gameplay is pure chaos. Everything's happening at the same time. You're trying to collect 3 sets of the same card and guard it with a quaffle if you can. But it's when the beaters come into play that things go off the rails here. My kids were delighted to learn that part of the game is to actually throw these balls at each other. And that went exactly how you can imagine. After a bludger toss, you have to put it back in the box, which can sometimes trigger the golden snitch to launch, which thankfully ends the game. There's just too much going on at once here for my kids to be able to play this. They get frustrated, then someone takes a bludger to the eye, and it's tears all around. We'll try again when they're a bit older. Toys my kids won't play with. Kinda? So we thought we had solved all of our Lego problems. With our new finished basement, we have plenty of storage, some display space, and a huge ping pong table split into 2 sides for my son and daughter. But we quickly realized this still wasn't enough. It only took one birthday and Christmas season to completely use up all the space. Now they have to use auxiliary tables next to the main one to build new projects. At this point, we need a whole nother ping pong table just to keep up. Toys my kids won't play with and why. I first showed you this Connect set around Christmas time. Sadly, that was also the last time that it worked properly. My son and his dad had great fun building it. And for the first few run-throughs, it worked perfectly. But it didn't take long before the car was no longer making the loop-de-loop. My engineering-minded husband tried messing with the angles and speed and rearranged the track a few times. But to no avail. Of course, by this point, my son had lost almost all interest and moved on to other toys. Hours later, my husband was still at it, this time with the supervision of the pets. But they weren't any help either. So here's another toy with a great idea, but lousy execution. Maybe in a few months we'll get it back out and try to rebuild from scratch. Hey, kitty.